It should be under Mangelli and Max. It says Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. It's on my channel. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on 3 channels. We've got 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Joe's going to get you over there. I got you covered here. We got your music ready to go. Now, how much of the music you want me to play, Tom? Just I'll give you
about a minute.
All right. Okay. I'll start bringing it down in a minute. And
Yeah.
And then you can come on. Mics are good. You check your mic. Mic was good.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
Testes, 1, 2.
Uh,
You ready? You should be on by now. I'm sharing it on my page. Oh, you got it though. You didn't say I got it, you know. I was waiting for you to say I got it. You did. All right, here we go. Music is on right now. Yeah, go ahead. You can put it on. Record. Okay, here we go.
From the studios of Hamilton Radio in beautiful Robbinsville, New Jersey, welcome once again to Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max, with your hosts Tom Mangelli and Doug Max. Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max is dedicated to keeping alive the memory of the legendary comedians and comedy teams who have shaped comedy over the past century, and also to showcase today's comedy talents. Warning: tuning into Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max may cause temporary cheerfulness. If cheerfulness lasts more than 4 hours, consult your bank balance. Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max would like to give a shout out to a very special friend of the show, Jack Hoffman of J. Irwin Productions. J. Irwin Productions puts together comedy shows for restaurant showcases, fundraisers, civic events, and private parties. For a successful comedy night, contact J. Irwin Productions at jirwinproductions.com. And now, without further ado, here are Tom Mangelli and Doug Max. Welcome.
Hello, the ado is over. Tom, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So we got a radio show tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what I'm here for, buddy.
Before we start, I want to share something with you. I
Okay.
just got a new apartment, and they came with these awesome glasses. It's apartment 3D. Sure, it was more expensive than the other apartments, but everything seems so real.
But bum. Thank you very much, Tom.
Had to get that out of my system.
So I was busy doing technical stuff. Did you tell people what all is going on our exciting show tonight?
We have a lot of things going on our show tonight.
We do. I'm particularly excited about one thing, which you may or may not be excited about.
What's that?
Well, I have it on very good authority that we actually have a very humongous contingent of female listeners tonight, Tom.
Female listeners.
Female listeners and viewers.
And why is that?
Because tonight is a very special occasion. Tonight, we're very pleased to have our premiere episode of a segment we call Win a Date with Tom Mangelli. That's right, ladies. This is how it will work, ladies. Who gave that sound?
Emphasis on ladies. Not for anything, but...
Well, you know something, not for anything. Why should we be? It's a date. You're not planning on getting married, are you?
No.
So, why discriminate against... Listen, it's primarily for ladies, but we'll give the contest details. So, ladies, this is what's going to happen. Ladies mostly. I'm going to interview Tom, so you're going to get to know a little bit more about him. And you will... Stop! You're going to end up loving him as much as I, and I'll say a good 93% of the people that meet him love him. So, and then, over the next 2 weeks, we will be receiving entries at Funny Talk MM. That's Funny Talk Manjali Max at gmail.com. Ladies, mostly, please write in why you think you should be selected to win a date with Tom Manjali. We're going to narrow the field down, who will call in on the air during our next show, and a winner will be selected. And Tom,
Yes.
some woman is about to be very, very happy getting to go on a date with you.
Well, all I have to say is I'm always concerned about having a crush on the person that I'm dating.
Oh, stop! It's a first date. You're going to be standing up, okay? So get that out of your mind.
Okay.
So we're not going to talk about the possibilities of a date because they're a wide range, and we want to be sensitive to whoever wins a date. Perhaps we will lock that in when we.
You can at least count on eating somewhere.
So, ladies, I know that when you look to date, you're probably looking, will this be the guy for? Well, this is a date, okay, with no promises, okay. First of all, don't take him away from me too much, but ladies, we know you have concerns about potential dates, so let's get to know Tom Manjali a little bit better.
All right. Would you like to ask me some questions?
I would like to ask you some questions. So first, Tom, do you have a job?
Yes, I have a job.
Okay, ladies, send those emails to funnytalkmm@gmail.com. You think they want to know anything else?
Probably.
Okay. Oh, most important, do you have a car?
I have a car.
Do you have most of your original teeth?
I have all of my original teeth.
Wow.
Well, not my original one. Those are my baby teeth.
Okay, you don't have those?
No. I lost them on a spare rib a long time ago.
Oh. Italian family giving the babies teeth them. Give them a spare rib. So let's see. What else can I ask you? So, Tom, are you single?
Well, I look double, but I actually am single.
And have you ever been married before?
Not to my recollection. I was never married, but I do enjoy Italian wedding soup.
Okay, well, that's close enough. So, Tom, when you're not... I'm going to do a little aside. Tom, if you don't know, and haven't figured it out from the show, is a very, very funny comedian. Not an ordinary funny comedian, a very, very funny comedian. And he's a very nice guy. I can attest to that. I've known Tom for over 6 years. So you have my imprimatur. It's a big word, my blessing.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tom, I know all this stuff about you through comedy, but what are some of the things you like to do when you're not doing comedy?
Well, I love animals, depending how you cook them.
Okay.
I enjoy eating out at upscale casual dining restaurants.
Wait a minute, we're already getting angry emails from PETA, Tom.
That's okay.
Okay.
Peter can go scratch.
You like eating out at upscale
casual
restaurants, dining restaurants?
Yeah,
like,
like the Waffle House.
That's pretty upscale.
White Castle.
White Castle's always good.
Right. And I love making people laugh, which I hope will happen at some point in my comedy career.
And you know something? I hope I'm there. I have a feeling it's going to be a Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope I'm there for that. So, Tom, what would you consider your best qualities?
My best qualities? Well, I'm compelled to help out the less fortunate. I hope to meet one someday. I'm also faithful in my relationships. I hope to have one someday.
That's a good way to be faithful.
Yes. And I don't play head games.
That's good.
Not into head games.
That's good.
The little pieces get lodged in my brain. The pieces, they get...
It's a puzzle. I get it.
Okay.
I get it. I think most of the pieces are together. I found a couple, though, Never mind. Found a couple on the sofa. That's another thing. So, let's see. So, I know women care about honesty in a man.
Yes.
Fundamental traits. Are you an honest person?
I'd be lying if I say I was. No, I am an honest person.
Let me write that out, and we'll figure out what that meant. Have you... This is kind of personal. Do you mind a personal question?
Go right ahead.
Have you murdered anyone?
Today?
Oh, boy. Okay.
No, I've never
okay,
murdered.
You've never, Tom. Let's win a date.
I've never murdered anyone.
You have to put your best foot forward.
Although I am a serial killer. I killed a box of Wheaties this morning.
You know something? We should have you arrested for that. So, okay, you fessed up on your best qualities. He likes to help out the less fortunate. He doesn't play head games. He imagines himself to be funny one day.
I do like animals, though. Better than people. Usually.
You have a cat.
I have a rescue cat. His name is Joey Bag of Donuts. Nice cat. Nice cat. Except when he throws up in my shoe.
Do you talk to him about that?
I do. I got even one time. When he wasn't looking, I took
Don't.
I'm doing it.
No,
I don't care.
Not again.
When he wasn't looking, I took a dump in his litter box. The poor bastard thinks he's got colon cancer.
So does he listen to you better nowadays?
Yes, he does.
Okay, I'm glad. So Tom, do you have any what you might call, what are your worst qualities?
Oh, geez.
That you can admit on publicly.
Well, I have ADD. Even my HD TV is actually an ADHD TV.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the picture's clear, but it won't stay on one channel.
Aye.
I'm also prone to depression, and they say that 41% of comics suffer from depression.
Yeah, what about the other?
The other 59% actually enjoy it.
Ba-dum-bum.
And another worst quality is that I'm corny as hell, and some people don't like that.
I don't know how people people that don't like the corny, they're not quick enough to catch it and keep up with it. They really, the train passed them by and they're everybody saw it, but I missed it. Okay, this is why we should write everything out that we're gonna say, Tom. So like all of us, like everybody. Was that you or was that him?
Sorry.
So, could you pick like,
my nose?
say, four random things that most people don't know about you?
Okay. Well, you don't even know. I took four years of lessons on the air guitar.
On the air guitar?
Yes, I also play the air bassoon, the air cello.
That I believe.
Yes.
Do you know cello in Italian is air? Oh, sky. Never mind.
Never mind.
So can you play something?
No, but thanks for asking.
Okay.
Also, I can whistle in 7 languages. I'm proud of that.
Stop. You
What?
whistle in 7 languages.
Yeah, don't dwell. I'm allergic to croutons and marzipan.
Dwelling, I wanted to ask what...
Especially if I eat marzipan and croutons together. Look out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, we're going to go back to the whistling in 7 languages.
I'm not whistling for you.
Do you... name one language you whistle in.
I used to whistle for my mother. Whistler's mother.
Okay, any other secrets people don't know about you?
One last secret.
Okay.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
All right.
Really, Tom?
All right, I'm Fat Man.
Okay, that's better.
All right.
The important thing, ladies, operationally, the important thing is has a job, has car, has teeth. So let's see. I did want to say some things about my friend Tom because I go back to Tom day one of my comedy. We took our first comedy class together. That was your first comedy class too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've known Tom for over 6 years now. So one, I can attest to the fact that Tom is very funny. I can also attest to the fact that Tom is very well fed. Somebody's on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, let me just finish.
Go ahead,
Tom
finish.
knows he can pronounce big words, and he speaks Italian.
I don't speak Italian.
Tom, I hear you speak Italian all the time.
That's only to the waitress. I speak Italian menu.
How can you go on that long with an Italian menu, and I think you're speaking Italian?
No.
Okay, I thought that was Italian. You have an advanced degree. That's a shock.
Yes.
What's your advanced degree in, Tom?
I have a master's degree in business and marketing.
That's great. And
Yeah.
you are, I can certify you as a decent person.
I don't know about
as
that.
far as I
But
know.
you know, you know what? You know what? Enough of this adulation. I want to
Yes.
bring on the person who's on the line for
Okay,
us.
let's bring on the person.
Welcome to Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. Who do we have tonight?
Hey, how you doing, guys? It's Joe Losner over here.
Joe Losner. How are you?
Losner.
Pretty good. Tom forgot to mention, I guess he doesn't want to brag, but he is
Hang on.
America's undisputed stand-up comedy champion.
What's that you say?
I said Tom is America's undisputed stand-up comedy champion.
Really?
I'm sorry, wait a minute. There's something with the phone. Joe, from this end, it sounded like you said Tom Mangelli, Mongelli, is America's undisputed comedy champion.
Stand-up comedy champion, that is correct.
And
How can you say that?
Because he won the title at the Meadowlands Comedy Festival.
That's right.
Was that you?
I forgot about that. It was the 4th annual Meadowlands Comedy Festival. And how many winners were there?
Just one.
Who was that, Joseph?
Your buddy over there, Tom Mangelli.
Oh, so 1.5 is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can put it if you want to put it that way.
Listen, so I got to participate in the festival. I got to be on the first night with Tom, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there on the final night, but had a gig elsewhere. But it was, Joseph, it was really a fun show. I really enjoyed it. Both of us did.
Thank you. And I did some real fun, interesting facts about Tom in regards to the festival, which is kind of a feel-good story. Tom happened to be one of the first people to submit for the festival. He was the first person to get accepted into the festival. He was there on both opening night and got a chance to compete to become America's stand-up comedy champion, and he won. He beat out some fabulous comedians. I think he had the cleanup spot. There was, I think, 8 or 9 other comedians. Tom went up 4th, got huge laughs. From there on, the show continued to get huge laughs from all the performers. And, Tom, I guess you cashed that check, Tom?
What's that?
He won the purse, got the prize.
Yeah, yep.
He won the money, and he's the reigning and defending champion now.
Lots of money. So listeners, if you want a wonderful stand-up comedian, winner of the Meadowlands Comedy Festival and America's funniest stand-up comedian ever, Tom Mangelli.
Thank you.
And his really close friend who aspires to be almost as funny as him, Doug Max.
Yay. Well, Joe...
I'll tell you that Charlie's was a rough crowd, but China was a fun night. Was it not, Tom?
I'm going back. The food was good.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
Well, you might have an opportunity to defend your championship pretty shortly in the very near future. We might do it there again because it's so much fun.
Looking forward to that.
Hey, just don't book me on it because I like him too much. I don't want to make him cry.
Yeah, Doug doesn't want to show me up.
It's not a roast battle. It's the way we determine the winner is we have two official judges that score each comedian. They rate them on a on a 5-star basis, and whoever the top 2 comedians are, of the top 2 comedians, whoever gets the most audience votes, so then everybody in the audience gets to vote for the comedian they thought was the funniest, and we collect the ballots, and of the top 2, whoever has the most votes is the winner. So it's not a popularity contest. So if one comedian, let's say, comes and brings 20 people, but they're not in the top 2 of the judges, they don't win automatically.
Right.
So it was a real tight decision. Davian Velez, who was the runner-up, who was the other top comedian that night, Tom only beat him by 2 votes.
Wow.
Tom had 10. The other guy had 8. That's how close it was.
Good thing I voted 4 times.
Yeah, we tried to make sure that there wasn't any more extra ballots that got out.
Yep.
But hey, you got it the old-fashioned way. You earned it.
Well, I had a great time, man. I want to thank you for everything you did, and besides the prize money, the bragging rights for a whole year is worth its salt. So.
Well, you'll probably have a defense before next year, but this year you were the man. You were the man this year.
Thanks, Joe. You have any shows coming up soon?
After the festival, I get a little. It's pretty busy, so I just take a little time off, at least a week, and I'll have stuff coming up to be announced very shortly, probably by the end of the week or early next week.
All right, great.
Just taking it easy, watching the Yankees-Red Sox game right now. Scores 2-2 on the 7th.
Oh,
tie ball game.
Okay. I'm not into baseball. I'm into meatball.
I just figured, put it out there, let you guys know what's going on. But listen, I got to run.
Okay.
I want to again thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for being
Good luck
had.
to you guys.
Okay.
And I will see you guys soon. All right. Have a good night.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Joe.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Now, thanks for tuning in for Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. We have a new sponsor this week, and I'd like to introduce. We have a live ad that we're going to be running, and the sponsor is Pet Rescue Bayonne. So, without further ado, we'd like to have our first ad for Pet Rescue Bayonne. Vinny, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, we on?
We're on.
Hey. Hey.
This is Vinny.
I'm Vinny.
Yeah.
I'm Vinny. You said we was on.
We're on.
We're on. I'm Vinny.
I said we're on.
Hey, forget the headphones. I'm Vinny from Pet Rescue Bayonne.
Welcome.
That's all you need to know about me. What are you, writing a book? Listen, every year, thousands of abandoned pets are whacked. Put to sleep. Due to shelter crowding and underfunding. You follow? That's where you come in. For just a small donation from you, cute little puppy like this little guy here gets to live. Gabish? By the way, we just call him cute little puppy because we don't know how long they're going to stay around. You know what I'm saying? We're in Bayonne, down by the docks. You get the drift?
I get the drift.
Anyway, so the way I sees it, we know how many of you listening right now. We got what's the number? Okay, right now, 52,000 of you are listening. I'm going to make you all a deal. 25% of you send in me a little vig, like $10. By, say, tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. 25% of you send in $10. Cute little puppy here gets to live. Now, we can do it that way. One of you, for $200, you can own cute little puppy. You'd be done with it, and that'll be it. Anyway, you send me the money, right? Or else, cute little puppy say goodbye. And we know where his family lives. We're going to go and we're going to talk to them too. Send me a PayPal today, people. Today. Don't count on the others doing it. You send me a PayPal. Vinny at Pet Rescue Bayonne. You'll thank me later. And if anybody asks, you don't know me. Gabish?
Gabish. So, call Pet Rescue Bayonne today at 1-800-738-7293. That number again is 1-800-PET-SAVE. Thank you. So, that was our failed attempt at a sponsor. Don't blame me.
Tom, did I just miss Vinny?
Vinny called.
Was that Vinny from Bayonne?
Vinny was here. You weren't even here. I don't know where you went.
I'm sorry. I had to go to the bathroom. Okay. So how was Vinny?
Vinny's doing fine.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know about the cute little puppy though. So anyway.
Loses a lot of cute little puppies. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So So, well, you know, another thing people don't know about you, Tom,
What's that?
you have a family.
I have a family.
Your family has stories.
My family has stories.
Tom has told me some of the stories of his family that I absolutely love. And I said, Tom, you know, we're talking to all these famous people and their relatives. Let's forget those people. Let's talk about us and our relatives, famous or otherwise. So I know you have some favorite family stories.
All right. One of my favorite stories is about my crazy Uncle Henry. Every family's got a crazy Uncle Henry. I don't care what his name is. But Uncle Henry, he had a drinking problem. He took drugs and this and that. Anyway, he never got married. He was a bachelor his whole life. He used to go get drunk at bars every night. And he would get so drunk he would pick on the biggest guy in the place till he got beat to a pulp. And then he would start making phone calls to the family members. So Uncle Henry, one night, he calls the funeral home that our family's used for 200 years, Fiala, and he tells them that he's got to come pick up my great-grandmother, Francesca, because she passed. So my great-grandmother didn't know he made this call. She was at home sleeping. And this guy from the funeral home, Jack, who was like 6'9", he looked like Lurch from the Addams Family, he comes knocking at the door at 2 a.m. So my great-grandmother woke up, and she had her hair that was normally in a bun was released, and it went all the way down to the floor almost, and it kind of flowed in the breeze, and she was wearing this white nightgown. So Jack knocks on the door at 2 a.m. My grandmother finally gets to the door, opens it up, and Jack sees my grandmother standing there, who's supposed to be dead, flowing in the breeze with her white gown and her hair very angelic looking. So Jack literally jumped back and almost fell down the stairs. And my grandmother almost had a heart attack seeing the undertaker show up in the middle of the night at the door. Meanwhile, Uncle Henry's beat to a pulp somewhere on the bottom on the floor of a saloon, and that was that. So
now, the first time you told that story, what I heard from you was a lot funnier, but it wasn't the story you told. But I'm deaf in one ear, so I hear what I want.
He also hears voices.
And I imagine hearing voices. I thought the story Tom was telling me was about his Uncle Henry being angry at his wife and calling up their friend, the funeral director, during a family party, calling him up and saying, "Sal, come and pick up Rosa." And Rosa's alive, yelling at him, "What are you doing calling a funeral?" That's what I thought this. Anyway, not your family.
No. You have me confused with someone else with an Uncle Henry.
No, that was my bad hearing.
Okay. So, do you have any family stories?
I have a number of them. None of them are funny, but no, I have. There are a couple stories. Forgive me if this goes over the line, Tom, but we kind of draw the line. So my two sons, one is about a year old and the other is about 3 years old. And it's on a night when I'm taking care of the boys all by myself. And my aunt, my mother's sister, calls from Ohio. I answer the phone and I'm talking to her. And at one point, my eldest, who is 3, was standing, and he was pulling on me. And I said, "Honey, do you need something?" And Aunt Becky's like, "This is a long-distance call." This was like 15 years ago. It was still, then it wasn't the $1 a minute. It was, a penny a minute. I'm like, "Aunt Becky, he wants..." And I said, he keeps on yanking. And I go, "Honey, do you need to poop?" And Aunt Becky said, "You use language like that?" I said, "What kind of language do you want me to use?" She said, "Well, when I taught school, I taught the kids that they were supposed to use proper terminology." Proper terminology, Aunt Becky? Yeah, if they wanted to leave the classroom, they needed to tell me whether they were urinating or defecating. I'm like, "Aunt Becky, you're asking them?" And she's like, "You should teach your son proper terminology." I said, "Aunt Becky, if I taught my kid to raise his hand and ask a teacher if he could go and defecate, he would go through his entire school year being known as, like, defecation boy or something."
Wait, I have to back up here. Using proper terms and you're calling your son honey?
I love him.
I love
you know,
honey,
I
but
do that. Well, you know this. I do that automatically. I love my kids.
Doug often calls me honey. I just wanted to bring that up too.
But I've learned there's only one. I've only got one sweetie in my life.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's that?
my girlfriend.
Ah.
She's my only sweetie. And if I called you sweetie, I would hear about it.
Well, you can't call me sweetie. I'm diabetic.
But bum. Okay. You told me, I can't remember what you told me another family story that I absolutely loved. It was only one other.
Well, speaking of proper terminology, yeah, thank you. Speaking of proper terminology, my Aunt Lucy stayed over when we're still living with my parents' house. Stayed over, and my brother and I were arguing and we're calling each other names, and he called me an asshole, and I called him an asshole, and Aunt Lucy said, "Excuse me, what was that last word?" And my brother and I looked at each other and said, "Hole." We're all demented that way.
Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so
Aunt Lucy was great. She used to sleep over on the weekends a lot, and I had 2 beds in my room, two twin beds, and I was sleeping in the same room with Aunt Lucy, and it was during bowling season in high school, and I was in the midst of tournaments. I was bowling like 6-7 days a week. My aunt claims that I got up in the middle of the night and started bowling in my sleep. She said she couldn't go back to sleep. She was afraid I was going to rip her head off and roll it across the room. That was Aunt Lucy.
wow.
Because that's how I roll.
Okay.
You can hear a pin drop.
Yep. Time for another funny story.
I don't know. It's 10 o'clock. Do we have anybody on the line?
I think we'll probably will soon.
Okay.
Did you already cover that Rain Pryor may or may not be able to call in?
We didn't even bring that up yet. You want to talk about that?
We should talk about this.
Yes.
So I met Rain Pryor many years ago when a close friend of mine, also a woman in our comedy class, Tina Marie, comedian and producer, among other things. Yeah, Tina Marie, produced a show at Scotty's Comedy Club, and Rain Pryor, who she had met through, however you meet people, Richard Pryor's daughter. Rain was the headliner. I got to meet Rain, and over the years I've had occasion to run into Rain. I went to see Rain's production of a one-woman show that she wrote and performed in, called Fried Chicken and Latkes. Basically a story of her life, growing up with Richard Pryor was a dad, and her mother was Jewish, so she shared cultures from both areas. Anyway, she said she would try to call in, and she still may, but we understand that her life is very busy because, very exciting for her, Norman Lear is going to do an adaptation of her one-woman show, Fried Chicken and Latkes.
Wow.
Norman Lear. So, that's anyway, so I know she's keeping very occupied and bouncing from one coast to another. She didn't even know where she was going to be.
Wow.
Poor woman. So
now where is this show going to appear? Is it on TV?
It'll be on TV. It's a Norman Lear, as far as I understand. It'll be a TV production.
Wow.
So,
I hope she does call in.
Well, I hope, but it wouldn't matter. It's so loud in here. Nobody'd be able to hear her.
What?
What?
I'd hate it to be
line.
cold on account of rain. Wah, wah, wah.
So I'm gonna tell a story, since we need to talk about something.
Why don't you tell a story instead?
Years ago, my youngest has been into skateboarding for many, many years, and he wanted to go to a premier skateboarding camp in Pennsylvania, about 2 hours away from here, called Woodward. So one summer, I took him with a friend of his and his dad. We drove him out there. We dropped him off. At the time, I had a silver 3 Series BMW.
Okay.
A couple days after we dropped him off, an idiot drove into my car and totaled it.
Oh.
We have somebody on the line? I'm going to stop. Let's find out who's on the line.
Welcome to Funny Talk
Hey.
with Jelly and Max.
Hey, this is
that
Jack.
Hi,
Hoffman.
Jack. How are you?
Jack Hoffman, how are you?
Oh, very good. I love that commercial you did early in the show. That was great. That J. Irwin Productions really puts on some nice shows.
Yeah, don't they?
They do. And you're talking about Rain Pryor, and I've met her several times also. And not only does she's done stand-up comedy. I saw her at the Metropolitan Room in New York where she did an hour show of just singing. And her brother, Richard Pryor Jr., also got up and sang. And so much talent. Plus, she's an actress. She's and a nice person. She's
really
the real
is.
deal. She really is.
She really is. She lit up. I mean, I saw her, and I had never met her, but she is radiant. So I wish her all the best. And I know her.
I
life
first
is very
met her
fun.
at Carlo Bolero had a roast of a
fundraiser.
bunch of comedians, and I met her there. And Tom, I think you were there as well.
That's the time that I met her also.
And then I saw her again at the dedication of a street corner in memory of George Carlin.
Oh, really?
And she was there with her real good friend Kelly Carlin.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lot of showbiz royalty there between the two of them.
Sure.
But despite that heritage, Rain is she's just I don't want to say a normal person, like it's an insult. But yeah,
No,
she's just a very genuine, really warm person.
Down to earth.
And I wish her the best, unless, of course, she doesn't call in which case she's dead to us.
No.
I'm stealing that from Shark Tank.
Jack. Speaking of
she is a nice person.
Speaking of celebrities,
and she got married in the last few months too.
oh, she did.
She's a newlywed.
I
Yes,
did not
she's
know
a
that.
newlywed.
Okay. So why the hell is she calling here? She's got better things to do.
Yeah, give her a year, and then she'll have. Jack, I was in the middle of telling one of my favorite stories, and you
Okay.
you called. Can I pick it up, or should we?
Let's table it
No,
for
of
later.
course.
I want to talk to Jack. Jack, we're talking about celebrities. You happen to know more celebrities than I've ever. I can't imagine. And I know you go to book signings and you go to the Comic-Cons and the Chiller Theaters and all of that. You recently went to Chiller Theater a couple of weeks ago. Is that right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, not this past weekend, the weekend before, and I saw some legends. I saw some great film and TV celebrities from the 60s and 70s.
Really?
And it was really a fun weekend. Do you remember 77 Sunset Strip?
Sure.
Okay, do you remember the guy with the comb? What was his name?
Cookie.
Right, Ed Burns.
Okay.
I met Ed Burns. I think he's about 82 years old, but he was also the DJ in Grease, the movie.
You're right.
So
That's
there's
right.
there's two generations of people that remember him.
Okay.
And very, very friendly, nice guy, great to meet him. They were having a 40th reunion of Grease. And I met Dinah Madoff.
Nice.
Eddie Deason. Eddie Deason was in Grease. He played, I believe, Gene. And he was also in 1941. He was in War Games.
Wow.
Wait,
always
who?
plays like the nerd
He was
with the
in War.
glasses.
Who was he in War Games?
I have to
love
look it
that
up. I
movie.
don't know off the top
Okay.
of my head.
Okay. Who was the most exciting person you met, or the one that you were most excited to meet?
Well, there were three really favorite actors that I met, and one I expected to be a diva. I met Diane Carroll. Do you remember
Okay,
Julia
of course,
in
sure.
the 60s?
That was the first
Okay, and
first TV sitcom with the black lead.
correct.
Yeah.
And she was also in Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
And about 20 years later, in the late 80s, early 90s. And I expected to be meeting a diva. Well, she's about 83 years old. We started talking, and she says, "Why don't you sit down?" And here I'm going table to table to introduce, to meet these celebrities. She wants a schmooze with everybody. And I sat with her, and she was just wonderful. Really, really nice lady.
Did you guys talk about me?
And you know what? She just whispered. She said, do you really know Doug Mack?
Thank you, Jack. I love you.
I remember watching that show as a kid.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
so that was one. Who else? Diane Carroll.
The
Who
other
else?
one, I think he's one of the best actors out there, Ernie Hudson. Ernie Hudson was in Ghostbusters.
Oh, of course.
She's awesome.
I know
He
Ernie.
was also he also played Lily Tomlin's boyfriend. He was a florist. Only last year was it Gracie and Frank?
Okay.
Frankie and Grace
I don't know.
on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a hit show, and he's been doing a lot of character acting, and he was just in Blue Bloods a week ago.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
he's
great.
just a favorite actor. Anything he's in is really, I think he just brings it up a
He
notch.
is a good actor, and it'd be nice if something pops for him and he gets, above supporting actor.
And
but
that's
he's
why
very strong.
I really enjoy meeting these people, these actors and actresses, because they might not be getting day-to-day work like they used to 20 or 30 years ago, and they go from city to city doing these Comic-Cons, these conventions, and this is how they make a living now. And I got to tell you, most of them are just regular people, nice, just good people. The third person that I really enjoyed meeting was Ed Begley Jr.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Saint Elsewhere,
Sure.
Oh, of course.
and many other
And
shows
many other
as
things,
well.
yeah.
And his father, he's also showbiz royalty. His
Oh,
father,
sure.
Ed Begley, was an actor in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
He was in 12 Angry Men, right?
yeah.
We talked about that
Correct.
on Facebook. And
Yep.
that was an incredible movie. That's every
one of my
time I think of
favorites.
that, every actor
The
on
original,
that was
yeah.
so incredible. The cast of that, but
Absolutely. You mentioned
Yep.
Julia, what's her name? Diane Carroll. I had her autograph. My parents went to Vegas back in the 70s, and that was one of the autographs they came home with. I had
There you go.
I completely forgot that until you mentioned it.
Well, now you got to go look for it.
That's right.
the most famous person I think I ever met. Well, let's see.
Besides me?
My parents said I ran into Toots Shore in his restaurant when I was
Okay.
4 years old, and he gave me ice cream or something like that. You know Toots Shore?
Oh, there you go.
I know ice
restaurant.
cream.
So, but the other, I was eating at the, I think it was the Carnegie Deli, and TC and Rick from Magnum PI were sitting together at a table.
Okay.
And it just put a smile on my face because I love that show. And to see that they were together 20 years after the show had wrapped, just really nice. Because I always thought that seemed like they got along together. A lot of times you hear about it ensemble casts, and you hear they're not so ensemble.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I also met, not only was it a 40th reunion of Grease, it was a 40th reunion for Animal House. And I met Boone and Otter, Peter Riegert and Tim Matheson.
I remember, yeah.
Nice. I love that movie. I've seen that movie about 30
But you know
times.
what makes me so sad? Because I love Belushi so much.
Tell me about it.
Yep.
I loved him.
And also, what was his name that was in it? Was it Stephen First?
Oh, Flounder.
Flounder. Yeah, he just passed away about a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's a fun event. They do it in April. They do it in October. It's called Chiller because their focus has always been on horror films, but I'm not a fan of horror films, so I don't necessarily go see the stars of Walking Dead or whoever that they might have there.
I never understood that genre, and I know so many people are into The Walking Dead and zombie this and that, and I never understood the...
I'm a big fan of the classic Gothic style monster movies, Frankenstein and Dracula and all of that.
Creature of the Black Lagoon was
all
on
of
last
that
week.
The Universal films from the 30s and 40s.
Sure, yeah.
The Wolfman and Dracula and Frankenstein.
Sure. Culminating with Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein.
I just remember
that is still one of the most popular of those genre films, tying it into comedy, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But,
Yep. I also met Corbin Burnson.
Oh,
he was
wonderful.
very nice.
Great actor.
From what was it?
L.A.
L.A. Law.
L.A.
Yeah.
Law.
Yeah.
Major League also.
The TV show
The,
Psych.
the movie. Yep, Psych. Yep.
Wait, Corbin Burnson was in Psych?
That was the father. That was the guy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And his mother, another showbiz royalty, his mother was on 2 different soap operas totaling 40 years, from the 50s to probably 2000.
Wow.
She only passed away about 5 years ago. And, yeah, I don't remember which ones because I've never watched them, but certainly a big following also.
Hmm. Okay.
So it's fun to go to these shows and gather up the memories. I met Bobby Brady, Mike Lukenland,
Right.
At this show.
And you know what? I saw pictures of him on Facebook. You can still identify him by that smile.
Yes,
After all
definitely.
these years.
I met Tabitha from Bewitched.
Wow.
She's now all grown up, of course.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Erin Murphy. Do you remember Lyle Waggoner
Of
Sure.
course.
Absolutely.
from
Carol
what 2
Burnett,
shows?
Yep.
Wonder Woman,
Yep, and
Right.
Carol Burnett.
and
Yep,
Carol Burnett. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what the show
You've
is
met
about.
everybody.
And,
It's so funny seeing all your Facebook posts. It's like you've met absolutely everyone.
You know,
Well,
you also
yep.
know a lot of baseball players. Is that correct?
I've for a couple of years I produced or co-produced events at Yankee Stadium and at Citi Field where we would rent basically suites, 4 suites totaling 250 seats, and we would resell the tickets. But not only would the person who buys the tickets get a chance to watch a game and have lunch because the suite includes a buffet, but we would have about a dozen ex-Yankees sitting with us at the game. And so you'd be watching the game and sitting next to Roy White or
Oh, wow.
Fritz Peterson or Jim Leyritz.
Roy White used to live in Wayne when I was there.
Yep, he still lives in North Jersey.
Yeah.
It's really fun, and this is what my retirement is all about.
Sure.
I worked for 40 years, and I figured, let me do things that I enjoy now that it's my turn. You know?
Right.
Well,
Absolutely.
we're both glad you really love comedy, and you're one of few that we know of, and we probably know all the big comedy fans around here. You're very dedicated, and we love that.
Well, and we've had success. You've been to my shows at the 76 House in
they've been
Tappan,
great.
New York. And based on that success, we're starting actually our first show at the Crow's Nest next Wednesday, May 16th.
Oh.
Crow's Nest is a bar and restaurant that's been in business probably for 50 years. I remember going there when I was in college,
Yeah.
40 years ago.
I love that place.
And I've got Bill Ervolino, who is a columnist for the Bergen Record, and he does a humor column once or twice a week, has a big following. I've got an icon of comedy on the lineup, too, next week, Chips Cooney.
All right.
We love Chips. I love Chips.
Oh,
I
we
was on
like
a radio show with him for close to 2 years.
Right.
Every week. Yeah,
There
you go.
I got to be very close with
What
him.
was the show that
when I
Chips was
produced?
He was on
Go ahead.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got
yeah.
Talent, right?
Yeah, he got through 2 rounds.
Plus, also, he was last year. He was on the Steve Harvey show, Little Big Shots
That's
Senior
right.
Edition.
Yeah, you're right.
Over the summer. And he was on the first show, and they liked him so much, and the following was so great, they brought him back for the last show of the series.
Wow, that's
So
awesome.
they might even ask him back again this summer. I don't know.
I wonder, I might be getting old enough to try seniors comedy.
There you go.
Now, who
I have
else is on that show?
Sean Morton on the show.
Oh, okay.
Strong comic. Sean?
Great comedian, based right in Bayonne. And the host of the show is a young comedian who has worked all over New York City, grew up right here in Bergen County in Dumont, Lynette Palladino.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
the thing about Lynette is not only is she a funny lady, but she's in the National Guard.
Really?
She just spent a year in Iraq. That was her 3rd tour of duty.
Wow.
Good for her.
So I think people should just come and thank her for her service. That's what they should do.
Absolutely. I'll be there. By the way, order the ribeye steak. You'll thank me later.
Oh, you know what else is great that they have? They make a prime rib sandwich.
Oh, boy.
They take the best prime rib, they cut it super thin, and it becomes like a French dip. And it's the best quality. It's the best sandwich in the world.
Okay,
Yeah.
so time and date again?
This is Wednesday, May 16th. It's next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow.
I can't make it.
Where?
It's crowsnestcomedy.brownpapertickets.com.
What town is Crow's Nest in?
Hackensack, right on Route 17 in Hackensack.
There you go. J. Irwin Productions, people. Look for him on Facebook.
Love it.
All
You
right.
guys are great.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks
Jack,
for calling in.
good hearing from you. Can't wait to hear who else you've met.
All right, and congratulations to Tom Angeli on winning the
Woohoo.
Meadowlands Comedy Festival.
Thank
America's funniest stand-up comedian.
Yes, I can't stand
There
up
we
for
are.
long, though. So.
But I'm pumped. Jack, thanks so much for calling in. Always
All
good
right, I'll be talking to you. Thanks
Okay,
a lot.
buddy.
Thanks, Jack. You know,
Bye-bye.
Jack mentioned May 16th is his big. I can't go. I have a gig that night. I have a show. I'm going to be at the Green Knoll Grill in Bridgewater, New Jersey. So, I hope it cancels for one reason or another, so I can go to Jack's show. I don't really mean that.
Well, I have an interesting show this coming weekend. I'm going to be, it'll be the second time I've performed at a temple.
Oh, really?
Temple Shalom in Scotch Plains. It's a
Okay.
fundraiser, so I'm looking forward to that. I think I have to be kind of clean. And then Tierney's, one of my favorite rooms in Montclair, New Jersey on May 20th.
Love Tierney's.
And then Greenwich Village Comedy Club, May 26th, which we're going to call my birthday show.
That's Greenwich Village?
Even though Greenwich Village Comedy Club. And the other thing I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to be offering a stand-up comedy workshop at the Free Public Library in Summit. I don't believe it's open to non-residents, but it might be. But, you know, listen, I'm 6 years in. I figure I know everything there is to know about comedy. Why shouldn't I teach?
You'd think so.
How much of comedy do you think I know now? What, like 30%? 25, 70?
9?
9%. Okay, well, they were the show before us. One of the guys was encouraging the other to be a comic.
Yeah.
And I'm shaking my head. Don't you think that's like, you shouldn't encourage people to do that? If you want to be a decent person, you discourage people.
Now, notice
and if their drive pulls them into it, then
Notice, though, that the person that was encouraging him to be a comic was not a comic himself.
correct.
So,
Maybe he was trying to be funny.
I don't know.
But, you know, that's, I'm thinking I have an obligation to this workshop. I'm not calling it a class. I just want them to you know, help others, help themselves be a little funnier.
Sure.
That's all. Get some laughs and get it out of you, get it out of them a little bit. Yeah.
Should call it shits and giggles.
I don't think we're going to call it that.
No. Maybe not.
But perhaps if you want to come in and be a celebrity comedian, if I brought you into a class,
Yes.
and people don't know this, I've been a stand-up corporate trainer for 35 years now, so I'm good at BSing. Anyway, so I bring you up in front of my class and I say, Tom, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned about being a stand-up comic?
Move the microphone in the beginning so they can see you. I've learned a lot of lessons, and let me tell you something. Most of the lessons I learned was in the first year when I was under the tutelage of Floyd Vivino, Uncle Floyd.
Good guy. What did you learn from Floyd?
I learned so many things, the ins and outs about the business side of comedy, and
Don't tell him. We don't. You can tell me. Don't make it public. We don't.
But you know, we're getting close to the time that we're going to sign off. But I wanted to mention that the two of us are going to be on one of Hamilton Radio's other shows next week.
We are?
Yes, next Tuesday. We're going to be on Wisecracking.
Oh, Dave Weisskopf.
Dave Weisskopf.
Yeah, where we can
and
say
Marty
whatever we
Wegner,
want.
And I'm going to be here in the studio, and I believe you're going to be calling in.
I'm going to be, yeah. I got out of making the trip. I'll tell you, one good thing about having a 94-year-old World War II hero veteran dad is I can use him to get out of some extra drives.
Sure.
You know?
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned your father before, but tell the people listening in what his project is that he's working on right now.
So my father was an American soldier in World War II, captured shortly after his arrival at Normandy Beach, captured by the Nazis. At the time he was captured, he was told that they weren't taking any prisoners and he was going to have to be killed.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, but odd. Some German took mercy on him and moved him into slave labor. So he wasn't in a POW camp. He was marched from one railroad track to another to repair it from the bombs, and they repaired it poorly. But anyway, one day while they were marching from one site to another, there was a bend in the road. German soldiers were all the way at the front of the line and all the way at the back. And the story is my father saw this was an opportunity to peel off, and he signaled to a few guys close to him. I guess they had talked about it, and they peeled off and ran away, and he escaped. Weighed 89 pounds. Anyway, he has been speaking as part of New Jersey's required Holocaust and Genocide Education Initiative. He's been speaking to kids from grammar schools, middle schools, high schools about his experience, because he wants to make sure we don't get another dictator that wants to take over the world and treats people miserably like that.
I know somebody who puts the dick in dictator.
Anyway, it's, so I helped him, thank you, Tom. So I helped him write his book, and I have to shift from being stand-up comic to, doing Holocaust stuff.
Wow.
And back and forth and back and forth.
That's not an easy side gig.
Well, unfortunately, I have gardening to distract me and keep me off. Yeah.
Gardening.
Yes. So, Tom?
I think I'm a little disappointed, but I can understand Ray not being able to call in.
Listen, getting a TV show is a really big deal, and I think when you and I achieve that level of success, I think one of the worst prices to pay will be we'll lose some of our ability to do what we want when we want. So we're very understanding. And we're going to stay in her good graces and hope we'll hear from her someday. And in the meantime, we do have some other celebrity relatives that we're really looking forward to locking in for a date. We've got the Ritz brothers.
Right.
We've got connections with more of the Abbott and Costello family.
Right. And also the Three Stooges, relatives of the Three Stooges.
And we're going to go after some Marx Brothers relatives as well. Get them. And if none of that pans out, we'll get some of our relatives.
Hey, what the hell? I'll go dig up Aunt Lucy.
I'll get my dad, and you can bring Joey Bag of Donuts.
My cat, Joey Bag of... when my cat ticks me off, I chase him around the apartment with chopsticks. I gonna get you. You number 24. But I digress.
A comic I know has a joke about having a fight with his girlfriend because they were in bed and goofing around, and he said, honey, I'd like a 69. And she kicked him out of bed. He said, what's the matter? She goes, shrimp and broccoli at this hour.
That's an old joke.
I know, but it's funny.
And now I want Chinese food. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Okay, you're welcome. Let's go and eat, Tom.
All right.
Okay, guys, this has been Funny Talk with
Mongelli and Max.
Yep.
And thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time. What's the date? May 22nd, I think. And in the meantime, go to funnytalkmm if you're a female and want to win a date with Tom Mongelli.
And if you're a guy, send in your notes. We'll read them on the air anyway.
Maybe Doug will take you up.
Maybe I will.